Hello everyone! We are flying over to Naxxramas next. We got the Jab laying out. Hello, Jab. And Naxxramas is an interesting raid because it's the first time they've ever completely reused a raid, to my knowledge. Naxxramas was first released as a 40-man raid in the first, I guess, part of the game, Vanilla WoW. And to my knowledge, because I never played WoW during Vanilla WoW, it was never really my in my ability to do so, so I didn't get to experience this. But Naxxramas, from what I understand, was so hard that most of the player base did not get through it. On top of the issue that, 40 people was hard enough to get together to do something. But out of those 40 people, usually around 18 of them were useless anyway. At least speaking to people who had done this, that was what they claimed. There's just too many people needed for that raid, yeah. Exactly. So they eventually re-released it as this one right here, and this is Naxxramas right here. And you had two different versions, 25-man and 10-man. For the different size groups that you want. And it's the same raid, essentially. Same amount of bosses, same things that could happen. But it's a cool little raid. I like it. Alright. Since Silly's not here, we get to show this off.
Oh, actually, I think I'm gonna take a shower.
Oh, alright.
So, goodbye.
Au revoir. So, Silly's hopping out. And Windjig and I shall continue on into Naxxramas. Good thing about this is they added in a whole bunch of new little pets that you can get here. And I don't know how many of them I got, if any. I think I might just be missing Colossus pet. But let's see. Anyway, if you go around the entrance here, you can see...
Probably missing quite a few.
It's possible. There's a cat here. The cat's name is Mr. Bigglesworth. Alright, Lynchy, you can do the honors. Sorry, Mr. Bigglesworth.
Now! A curse upon you, Interlopers! The armies of the Lich King will hunt you down. You will not escape your fate.
So, Mr. Bigglesworth, quite obviously a reference to Austin Powers, is disturbing. Is Kel'Thuzad's cat, and when you kill him, you get that line of dialogue. Alright, so we're going to do the construct quarter quick first. Windjig, would you like to tell the story of the final boss when we get there?
Yeah.
As you can see, Windjig's brain is very on slow mode today.
There's so much trash in this.
Yeah. I don't think we have to pull all of it. We could probably skip by most of it. I think we have to pull the U's when we're in the... Yeah, all of the pulls. If that ooze touched you back in the day, it would just kill you.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And then there's this ooze. So this first boss we're going to fight is one of these guys here. His name is Patchwork. He's right there. This is the measure by which most fights are... he's the measure by which most fights are designed now in terms of how the fight mechanics work. Some people will refer to it as a patchwork boss. Patchwork is literally just stand there and kill him as fast as possible because he has a high damage, high health, but he's a gear check, essentially. He's not super hard, he doesn't have a lot of mechanics. The worst thing about him is his Hateful Strike, which does a lot of damage to the second highest threat person.
Kel'Thuzad make Patchwork his avatar of war.
Certainly, where are you?
Huh?
Where are you?
I'm I'm behind.
Oh no.
The ads came for me. Sorry, I didn't think you would pull him up there.
I don't know why you would have thought otherwise, since I was clearly visible running.
Yeah, I didn't think you would pull him up there.
I followed him.
That usually. It's fine.
"18 people being useless for a 40-man raid," so it was essentially a 25-man. Yeah, it really was.
Just thinking,
Alright, Stitch Giant. So in this room, you'd go around and you'd kill all these guys before you'd fight Grobulus here. Grobulus was odd. He,
look at that model. Wow.
yeah, he's a very, very strange-looking creature. Not entirely certain what he was. I don't remember too much about this guy, other than he made oozes and...
He doesn't even have a dialogue.
I don't think he could have a dialogue. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
There's a tube coming off his face. This place is full of a bunch of nasty-ass creations, isn't it? Exactly, P. This is like the construct wing. It's where a lot of those nasty-ass creations were, well, created. So for here, you'd want to step onto the pipe. You can fall down. You'd go through here where you would take damage, but it's not going to do any damage to me.
1 damage.
If you look over here, you can see like a part of the dungeon that you don't really...
This.
See, there's Patchwork, you kill him. And there's Gluff. Gluff is a big dog. You usually tank him on the far side of the room over here. Because zombies would come out and he'd eat the zombies. I think he'd either heal or increase his damage or something. So you'd want to kill them. Okay. Yeah, it was a super interesting fight, and it was the first fight I had actually run into a wipe with my guild when we went through here. All right, you want to go left or right?
I'll go right.
Well, that's left, but
You know right.
so these two back in the day had to die at the same time. If they didn't, one would res, or the other one would ride the grip, or so they had to stay in line with this Tesla cannon as well. And there they go, they both died. And then you had to jump down, and you had to jump. If you didn't, you just fall. And yeah, so Wintry, tell the story of this guy.
He's made of women and children body parts.
Yes, thank you. So this fight's kind of sad in that he has a ton of HP, and he is made of the stitched up skin from women and children that the Scourge had taken up. Well, I'm not negative, I'm super positive.
I'm positive.
You're the most negative person. You've been nothing but negative today.
What's very fun?
Oh, I'm sorry, all the time. Anyway.
Who dares violate the sanctity of my domain? All who trespass
You dare. Or, P's like, you looked at that guy and he died. Alright, let's go over to... I think that's the, you wanna do this one? The Death Knight Wing?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the Death Knight Wing. It's, as you can see, it has Death Knights. Exciting. The military quarter. It's where they train their Scourge Death Knights and other military
The
fighters.
first kill goes to me. Anyone care to wager?
Shade of Naxxramas. can't jump over that. You gotta fucking go all the way around. Anyway, so yeah, the raid is full of Death Knights, as you can see. This first boss was super interesting, though. He had a necessity to bring 4 priests, essentially. I think Shadow Priests in particular, because they were the only ones that could mind control, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it was only Shadow Priests that could mind control, but maybe not. Anyway, you had to mind control these 4 Death Knight understudies and use them to kill the boss while the rest of your group killed the boss, because they'd taunt and they'd have a shield ability. And basically, because this guy hit really hard, like so hard that your normal people would not be able to live through it.
Show them no mercy!
But nowadays you don't have to do that. It was a really interesting way to do the fight. And I don't think they've done anything like that since. And now we have floating weapons, because why not? The Scourge are a large group of mass murdering assholes. Yes! Yes, they are. And each of Naxxramas' 4 quarters represents something different. I think this is actually the last wing I did. Possibly the Construct Quarter, I don't remember. No, yeah, the Construct Quarter wasn't the last one. Maybe in this one or the Plague Quarter.
Didn't we just do the construct?
Yeah, no, I mean, the first time I ever did them. Alright, so do you want to do one person on each side, or do you want to do...
Oh, one on each side is fine.
Alright,
Nice. Nice.
I gotta throw something at him.
Foolishly you have sought your own demise. Brazenly you have disregarded powers beyond your understanding. You have fought hard to invade the realm of the Harvester. Now, there is only one way out. To walk the lonely path of the dead.
So, Pete, was only one class had the mind control ability, or was it more of an item you needed for in the area? I think it was only one class had it, which necessitated the bringing of that many. So this fight is interesting in that it summons a bunch of human enemies that you gotta fight, or living, and then shortly they would respawn on the other side, as you can see over there with Windtreak. She's fighting them. You can see the spirits go up there along the edge, and you can see them going around the back of the room, and then they'd respawn on the other side as an undead form, and then the other side would fight that undead form. So here come 3 more trainees. So you had to balance out your raid. So in the 40-man, you'd have 40 people on one side, or 20 people on one side, 20 people on the other. In the 10-man, it'd be 5 on one, 5 on the other. In the 25-man, I think people just did more on the undead side, because I think that's the harder of the two. But as you can see, there's more than just trainees. With each type you kill, a different type would spawn. Like, when the trainees die, ghosts spawn on that side. When the Death Knights die, I think a spectral Death Knight, as Windtreak's fighting right now, spawn on the other side. And then there's 1/3 type of mob that you can do. So it's pretty interesting. For now, it's not an overly exciting fight, just because it's very slow. When you can just murder everything. You gotta speak up with your carrier.
It takes quite a while.
Yeah. Oh, here's the 3rd mob here, the Unrelenting Rider. So when you defeat him, I don't know what spawns over there. So...
Just more ads.
No, I mean, like, what mob spawns over there? It is a Spectral Horse and a Spectral Rider. Okay, so the Horde side actually get 2 hordes. The Undead side get 2 enemies. What? Why are you over here? Alright. For some reason, it just came over to fight me.
Yeah,
I guess that makes
I
sense.
noticed that. I tried to dot it.
So the thing here is, though, you don't actually have to stay on both sides. You can just sit on the other side, like on the human side if you want, until the time runs out, and then they'll all just run to the other side anyway. Once the gate opens, because it does eventually open. Yeah, basically she's fighting the ghost of what I'm fighting. Or this living dude who is running towards her for some reason. Probably because her spells are healing as well as doing damage.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know.
So as I kill things, she spawns the reanimated dead version. And then eventually we do fight Gothic the Harvester himself, but I don't think he does anything worthwhile. As you can see, the waves get bigger and bigger.
I don't remember this fight being so long.
It's not taking any longer than usual. Actually, it's taking less time than usual because we're one-shotting everything, so. Kind of BS. They can run through walls and you can't. They got hacks, apparently. Well, the one that ran through walls and attacked me was a ghost. Okay, and he's gonna come down into the river here in a moment. The door should open up.
I have waited long enough. Now you face the Harvester of Souls.
Or not. Maybe he teleports between the I got a sword called Life and Death. I think it's a blue sword. Yeah, it's looks more like a blue dragon than anything, but that's pretty cool looking.
To arms, ye roustabouts! We've got company!
Invaders, cease this foolish venture at once. Turn away while you still can.
Come, Zeliek. Do not drive them out. Not before we've had our fun.
Enough battling. Let them come. We shall grind their bones to dust.
I do hope they stay alive long enough for me to introduce myself.
Perhaps they will come to their senses and run away as fast as they can.
I've heard about enough of your sniveling. Shut your fly trap before I shut it for you.
Conserve your efforts. Harness the rage. You will all have answers for your frustration soon enough.
So, Wintry got unlucky there. She got fucking 2 aged winter cloaks. But we're just gonna sell them anyway, so it doesn't matter. Back in the day, that would have sucked. So this next boss is the 4 Horsemen. Alright, Wintry, do you want to take the 4 Horsemen, the 2 that spawn on the left, or the 2 that spawn on the right?
Left.
Okay. So you got Lady Blumo, you got Thane Korthaz, Baron Rivendare, and Sir Zeliek. Baron Rivendare used to be in Stratholme, but he came here to become one of the 4 Horsemen. So I'll take out Baron Rivendare first. These guys had interesting mechanics in that they throw marks on your players, and you used to have to kill one, then move to the other, and swap between them. Anyway, I don't know this fight well enough. I didn't get a chance to do it, so if anybody would like to let us know. That was that fight. Although they did drop a super cool sword.
Yeah, they were like the hardest boss in Vanilla.
Yes. The only one that rivaled them in any way was possibly Kel'Thuzad, but most people didn't get there, so that's unsubstantiated, really. Alright, you want to do Plague or Spider?
We already did Plague.
No, we did Construct.
Oh, I thought that was Plague. Oh my god, there's so many wings.
There's 4 wings. Guess we're going Spider. Alright, this is the Spider Spider Wing.
Fun.
Wintry likes this one because it has spiders. She's a big fan of spiders.
No!
One shall I eat first? So difficult to choose. They all smell so delicious.
So this is a Nubercon. This is a boss that made everybody mad because they thought that this should be a Nuberak. But instead, a Nuberak got added in as a 5-man
It makes
boss.
the blood pump faster.
And a Nuberak was supposed to be the leader of the Nerubians. So the fact that this guy got an appearance here as a raid boss upset them. He's already dead. One Tree did not take part in the fight.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, he would dig underground and cause spikes to fly up towards a player, and you just had to avoid them for some time. And then he had spider guards that would come in, and you had to kill the spiders. He wasn't super difficult. He was just more of an annoyance boss anyway.
Similar to his 5-man abilities, just worse.
Again, you're talking really quietly, Louie.
Sorry, I'm very tired.
Well, wake up.
Yeah, I'm trying. Careful, I don't have a lot of feathers.
Alright, so we got poison skitterers here. Dead. So in this hall,
Old lives, your mortal desires mean nothing. You are acolytes of the Master now, and you will serve the cause without question. The greatest glory is to die in the Master's service.
so as you can see, this is Grand Widow Faralina. She's a spider lady. She has, she trains the acolytes of the damned, or the cultists of the damned. And yeah, she is bringing these ones
Slay
in.
them in the Master's name.
Wintrigue hasn't joined the fight yet.
Oh, sorry. And then she does fire.
Will avenge me.
Honestly, she doesn't do too much. She melees and she does rain of fire on people. And it's funny, when I first did this with my group, we tried to drain all her mana, and we succeeded. We got all of her mana gone, and she was still casting spells. So, mana means literally nothing for the enemy.
Yeah. Except for Lady Death Whisper. Except she still uses spells also.
Yeah, unless it's used as a part of the gimmick for the fight, it means nothing.
Hey, remember Mana Drain?
Yeah.
That wasn't used, except in PvP.
Yeah, Mana Drain was used by, I think, most of the main classes got some form of it, or the exact same form of it.
I don't know.
Because I know Priest had it.
Priest did. I don't think Mages did.
I'm pretty sure Warlocks had it. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Either way. See it. Listen to this music, it's so weird. Each wing also has its own, like, bits of music. In the Construct wing, you can hear people screaming in the background.
I couldn't even hear that, and I do. So that's weird.
This area has spiders and this weird music. I like it though. By the way, P, I didn't mention it during the Wrath of Lich King thing there, but the music that plays for the Lich King cinematics is some of my favorite music in the game. Some of my favorite music for most games actually is from Wrath of Lich King. Like, they did such a good job with that.
I'm typing a quick message to someone. I was just telling him about how you've been binging the X-Files and how I always thought that Mulder looked like him.
Oh man, the X-Files, that last episode pissed me off. I thought it was going to be a giant jub, but that was the creature they were hunting, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't think it was going to be a giant jump. I had hoped it was going to be a giant jump. Okay, so this is Makesna.
Squish, squish, squish.
She's really easy, as you can see. But she's usually the first boss that people would go for.
Wraith Strike.
Yeah, it's a fist weapon, I think.
That doesn't look bad at all.
It's kind of nice. So, Makesna would web people to a wall, and you had to go and break them out. And she would summon little spider ants. She wasn't overly dangerous of an enemy. She was actually considered, as far as I know, one of the easier bosses in there. Usually the first one people would go for. She did hit hard, though. So if you had bad healers or bad tanks, you probably weren't going to do well at the fight. And by bad tanks, I mean if you're not using your cooldowns. Come over here, Windcheek. I'm going to the play quarter.
Okay.
Now, my first memory of Naxxramas was actually trying to go through the plague quarter first. Now, we ended up not going through it first for the reason I'm about to explain. So when you go in here, you can see these ghouls. Ghouls aren't super bad. This is the part that makes Matt and Windcheek happy, is coming in here and seeing the ghouls. Anyway, there's these stone skins gargoyles. And if you didn't DPS them fast enough, they would turn to stone and heal full. And we didn't have the DPS to kill them. And they had an attack that just hit everybody in the group. Also a pain in the ass. Alright, I don't know why those aren't pulling, but okay.
It's fine.
Might be because we haven't killed these two. I don't know where the fuck's gone, but... Okay, normally those gargoyles back there pull, but I don't know why they didn't. So we got our first guy here, not the Plaguebringer. Not the Plaguebringer, summons skeletons. He's not overly exciting.
Die, trespasser! Right, I will serve the masters
Teleport. Summon ads.
Yep, pretty much. He'd tell for his intermission, and they'd come from the bone piles. You'd have to kill them. A lot of MMOs have some good music, so that's not actually something most MMOs are known for. Honestly, to this day, the one that puts the most effort into its music, I would say, is probably Final Fantasy XIV.
No.
Yeah. Like I think they go above and beyond, but I'd say Wrath of the Lich King, they did a fantastic job with their music. The Lich King theme's just so good. It fits the cold, icy wasteland that is him. And Dalaran's music's really nostalgic, and like they did a really good job just overall with everything.
Also, in music is super nostalgic.
With music?
In.
Oh yeah, in music, yeah. So, here's a very notorious boss of Wrath of the Lich King. It's called Hagen the Unclean. Don't kill him immediately.
Sure.
Just hit him.
I see you.
So, Hagen the Unclean has a mechanic that people call the safety dance because of the aforementioned achievement.
Tab.
Wait, you may kill him before he starts doing it. Just through melees. Okay. So, as you can see, the room kind of erupted there. So, eventually you'd want to move to different spots. Like it was safe over there where I just was. Now it's safe there. And then the room would erupt again, and then it'd be safe in this general area. And then it'd be safe over here. But at a certain point in the fight, he would teleport up to that platform where Piamet's on right now. And he would rapidly do all four in succession and summon an ad, I believe. But what was fun about that is that it would happen all really quickly. Oh, I mean, okay, so it would come back like this, in this order. But we're not going to wait for that. We're just going to kill him now. You couldn't stand up here on the platform with him either. It had a debuff that would kill you. Anyway, if you got hit in those eruptions, you were probably dead. Do you know how to dance? Yeah, I know the dance. We can talk to it.
It's just back and forth.
Yeah, the only hard part was knowing exactly where each thing began and end. But once you did the fight once, it was pretty much now.
begins on the right side as you're facing him.
Yeah. What I mean is like where each segment cuts off.
Yeah, the floor kind of marks it off, so
Yeah, so if you know which
there's
one
a
is
lot of
which,
leeway.
you're good. And rotting maggots. P, this room would be perfect for you. P likes maggots.
Ah.
Anyway, so this is the outer ring. There's no reason to actually drop down here, I don't think. Like, you can see all those mobs that you go up there and fight, but and if you look at the map, like, you can head back to Noth, the Plague Breeder's room, but there's no reason really to drop down there. And here's Lothab. Lothab had a ton of HP. As you can see, he's at 6.4 million, which is way more than a lot of other bosses here, except possibly Thaddeus, who had a lot more than that. But Lothab has this mechanic where he summons spores around the edge of the room, I believe.
Does an anti-heal.
And an anti-heal, yes. So Death Bloom does nature damage. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Aura.
And
Healing
then
effects reduced by 100%.
if you kill the spore, you get a critical hit increase of 50%. I like this boss. He looks ridiculous. That's a fungal giant. Oh.
You fly away.
See, that's crazy. I don't know if I have that one. I have one.
Oh,
I have
yeah?
two, actually. You can keep it. But thank you.
Now I have 2.
Alright, so lastly, you want to go into Kel'Thuzad's chamber. So, I think we gotta click the Orb of Naxxramas here. Okay. I can't click it now? There. Alright, so apparently there's a delay on it, so having to wait for 25 people to go through that portal would have been a pain. So here is Sapphiron, the second last boss of Naxxramas. Well, I really like this thing's spawn animation. Watch this, P. Yeah. So Sapphiron was one of the last bosses that used frost resistance gear. He never really used it anymore. That's fine. He had some mechanics where he'd freeze people and you'd have to hide behind the block of ice when he did another big attack. He wasn't too bad. And he still drops the key, heart key from the focusing arrows. I already have one of those, so I'm not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Forces are nearly marshaled to strike back against your enemies.
So, we will eradicate the Alliance and Horde. Then the rest of Azeroth will fall before the might of my army.
Yes, Master. The time of your ultimate demise grows close. What is this?
Invaders, here. Destroy them, Kel'Thuzad. Naxxramas must not fall.
As you command, Master.
For some reason that line wasn't voiced, but that's "Come heroes, by the will of the Lich King you shall be destroyed." So this is Kel'Thuzad. You start the fight just by running into the center of the room.
Silence!
And basically,
Of the cold dark.
like a lot of fights in Lich King, it's a wave fight. So he has all these ads that here, and you usually stand in the center and you wait for them to come through. I think the most dangerous was probably the Banshees. You could go and pull them if you want. Most people didn't, because that was a very dangerous thing to do. Nowadays, it's not too bad, though. But like these Soul Weavers here, they were probably the most dangerous of the ones that you pull.
It's true, there's only one of them.
They do respawn, as you can see, so there's no real point in going out and killing them. It's just more of a something to do for 3 minutes. Well, this one has 2 in there.
We're respawning.
Yeah, they run in very slowly. enemies. Like, the skeletons are the weakest. They're not too bad. Then you got these guys here. They needed to be tanked and faced away from the group, so I'm pretty sure they cleave. Yeah, it's like basically a big build-up of suspense. And then, Kel'Thuzad had one of the, a notorious ability that pissed off a lot of groups, because, you'd really find out who the stupid people in your group were. And that's an ability called, well, basically it's just a shadow trap. He'd put a circle on the ground underneath you, and if you stood in it, you died. There was no questioning it. I mean, you stood in it, you died. And yeah, he, there was, like, sometimes people just, you know, they tunnel and they die. It happens. But, and you know that that person wouldn't normally do that. It's just occasionally it happens. But then you'd have those people that it happens to every encounter. Like, on Guardian, Windtreak used to get hit by missiles every round. No, I'm kidding. We brought one of our other raid members, X, with us, and we were fighting Guardian in FF14, and every time missiles would go out, he'd get hit by one. So I had to stop and be like, look, you gotta stop getting hit by the missiles. How can we help you do this? And he's like, well, it's actually just my connection. I'm like, alright, so we can't help that. Just try and figure it out then, because eventually, if someone's continually getting hit by something that they shouldn't be getting hit by, you gotta pull them aside and be like, hey, what's going on? How can we help? Like, I don't want to be rude to somebody because, you know, maybe they're just having trouble focusing on that particular thing. Not everybody excels in every particular aspect of a fight. I get that. But you still gotta pull them aside and be like, hey, what's going on? Always the reason for the Undying and the Immortal failing. So, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually have the Undying achievement, but the Immortal I never got. The Immortal's 25 men, right? Undying's 10 men? Windtreak?
What?
Immortal is 25 men, Undying is 10 men?
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause I have Undying, but
Yeah.
someone fucked up Immortal for us.
So the reason ours fucked up on the Immortal was we went to do Kel'Thuzad as the first boss instead of the last boss. Well, second boss, I guess.
No, I think it was the last one. I don't know.
Anyway, we went to go do it, and I got mind control. So they decided they were just gonna kill me.
No, that's not what happened. The Warlock used the ability. He had to swap his dots to another target, swap to you while you were mind controlled, and fucking killed you.
That's what I just said. They killed me.
Well, you said they decided to kill you, but like the backstory is really stupid, and people were like, "Why the fuck would you use that ability? It's a single target."
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
basically ruined the achievement for us, and it was like the last week. So that's it.
So we went and did the Undying instead, and successfully did that. We didn't invite that Warlock. So that's Naxxramas. Exciting place.